This is Rob Tebbutt Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined by Derrick Osaze, the punching preacher. How are you, Derrick?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. We're here at the Ultimate Boxer launch at BT Tower. Very exciting.
Yeah, man, it's great, man. Great platform to be on. You know, great occasion, and yeah, man, it's awesome, man. This is an amazing experience.
First and foremost, let's talk about your nickname, the punching preacher. As well as being a boxer, you're also a preacher. Just tell us a little bit about that. It's not something that you come across quite a few things in boxing, but I don't think I've ever come across that before.
Yeah, it's not the most conventional. So I'm actually ordained minister with a church called God's Vineyard Ministries. In terms of the nickname, I owe it to my manager, Jimmy Gill. He's been calling me the punching preacher for as long as I can remember. It's a nickname that I didn't really like at first, but after a while I started to warm to it because it makes sense. You know, it's not a lie. I do punch sometimes as a boxer and I do preach. So yeah, he was the one that came up with the idea of the nickname and it just stuck with me. My parents call me the punching preacher now. They call me the punching preacher at my church as well. So yeah, man, it's great, man. It makes sense and it's the truth. So yeah.
Talk to me about kind of the duality of being a preacher, and because it is very true. I think George Foreman's minister and also a fighter. Yeah, what was that like? I mean, what came first?
Do you know what? I would say the ministerial side is based on my faith, which has been there my whole life. I grew up in a God-fearing home. I grew up in church. It was only until in university, when I was about 19, 20 years old, where I actually decided to, you know, I had to really identify the reasons why I go to church or things like that. So I made a conscious decision to, you know, dedicate myself more to my faith and God. And so that was it. So faith has always been a part of my life. And the boxing thing came into, let's say, age 15. I was on the verge of getting kicked out of school. So boxing was to keep out of trouble. Always played sports. I played for my school in football, rugby, basketball. So I used to deal with anger management when I was a young kid. So someone recommended boxing to me. I grew up watching a lot of boxers like Lewis, you know, Holyfield. Happy to see some recordings of George Foreman because obviously I wasn't alive then. And yeah, so I tried boxing, went to a local gym. It went from a hobby to a passion to a lifestyle. So yeah, man, it's amazing. Like, my faith has kept me grounded. I feel like without my faith, I wouldn't be standing in front of you here. I know it sounds cliche, but it's the truth because boxing is a hard sport. It's a lot of setbacks, a lot of challenge, a lot of sacrifice you have to make. And I feel like my faith has kept me grounded at times where I could have walked away from boxing. So yeah, very important, and it's inspiring, you know, to see other boxers who are open about their faith. Not just your George Foreman, but also Andre Ward was very open about his faith. He called himself the Son of God. Even Floyd Mayweather, very open about his faith. A good friend of mine, Joshua Barazzi. So, you know, it's a part of my life. So I don't see it as two separate entities. They're both a part of me. So yeah, man, it's awesome.
Tell me about this opportunity. When did this come up?
So this came up not too long ago, about a month or so ago. My manager got a phone call from the matchmaker for Ultimate Boxer, Carl Greaves. My manager called me and said, "Do you want to be an Ultimate Boxer?" And I think it was the quickest and easiest decision I've ever made in my life. I was like, yeah, I don't care who's in it, who, what, where, why, when can come later. Told them I'm on it, and that was it. So at the end of the day, opportunities like this don't come around all the time. So for me, it's a big platform and one I'm looking forward to. So yeah, man, there was never a doubt in my mind, regardless of who's in it, regardless of where it's going to be taking place. So I can't wait.
How are you going to prepare for this fight? It's not your conventional, even 6-rounder, 8-rounder, or even a 4-rounder, because there's many of them in the same night. How do you prepare for that?
Do you know? I think the biggest thing is training smart, not training hard. I train hard, but we train smart. And I think, you know, yeah, it's 3-minute rounds and you can fight 3 times in one night. But we have to be careful not to overthink in terms of changing your training so drastically. Obviously, there will be some elements of my training that will differ, some that I can't obviously disclose because I don't want to give away any competitive edges to my opponents. But the only thing I will say, I will be training smart and making sure that I'm in the best possible condition to perform to the best of my abilities in the tournament.
How much do you know of the rest of the lineup? There's 7 other fighters. Are you familiar with all of them? Some of them? None of them?
Yeah, I might know some of them. Who knows? Might have sparred one of them. But we don't go into that. At the end of the day, everyone's come here to do a job. Everyone's come here to win. Everyone's going to be in the best condition that they want to be to perform well. So I don't really go into who is in it, what they've done, who they've beat, record. That's all meaningless. That's all paper. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, when we get there, it's going to be you and someone else in the ring who has the same gloves, same equipment as you, and the same desire to win. And that's what it is. I made the best man win. So yeah.
Okay, well, just before we wrap up, why don't you tell fans what they're going to be in store for on May the 10th when the Punching Preacher makes his Ultimate Boxer debut at the O2?
I think what they're going to be in store for is, you know, a boxer who I think who's determination and will to win just can't be matched. Like I said, my faith in God allows me to fear no one but God. So what they're going to expect is an explosive performance, a controlled performance, but they're going to expect bigger and greater things from the career of Derrick Osaze. So yeah, I can't wait. So follow, support, get your tickets and come down, man. So yeah.
Okay, well, a man of many talents. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social, Derrick. Look forward to seeing you in action soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Rob. Thank you to Boxing Social. Thank you for the platform, and also just want to appreciate my team, DCT Boxing Academy up in Nottingham, my London family, my Nottingham family, my stablemates Echo Esserman, and everyone who's supporting. We can't do it without you guys. So thank you so much.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.